Good morning, folks. Thank you. We're ready to start Trico Electric's annual meeting. You know, we're very appreciative of our hosts here, and we serve this casino and part of the Pasquanayaki Nation. So at this point, I'd like to invite Miguel Flores up to do a welcome blessing.
Los Imcheniovo, Getchamalia, Gukstash. Buenos dias. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We can do better than that. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Let me introduce myself formally real quick. My name is Miguel Flores Jr. I'm a member of the Pasquanayaki tribe in Tohono Nation. My relatives come from the old Pascua community and Barrio Libre community. And my grandmother comes from the Tohono Nation, San Javier District. These are my relations. And again, it's an honor to be here this morning to offer this opening prayer. So with your permission, I'd like to offer a blessing of the four directions. Those of you that can stand, if you could please stand while I do a blessing of the four directions. Señor, we come into some manner honor you with a sacred smoke, Father. We thank you for this new day of life, which is the Pascha, Father. We thank you for all these relatives that got here this morning, Father. We thank you for the morning trophy, the morning star, Father. We thank you for the light that you give. We thank you for the warmth that you give, Father. We thank you for that sacred fire inside our hearts, Father. We come to some manner honor you with a sacred smoke. Señor, we come to some manner honor you with sacred smoke, Father. Thank you for elements of salvation, Father. We thank you for the warm rains which are being awakened, Father, for the rains that bring life, the rains that bring growth, the rains that cleanse and heal us. We thank you for our inner peace, our inner calmness, our inner childhood, Father. We come to some manner honor you with sacred smoke. We come to some manner honor you with sacred smoke, Father. Thank you for elements of the Western, Father. We thank you for those relatives that have passed on before us, Grandfather. We ask for their guidance, their strength, their wisdom, their courage. We come to some manner honor you with sacred smoke. We come to some manner honor you, sacred smoke, Father. Thank you for the elements of the north, Father. We thank you for the cold winds which bring awaken, Father. We thank you for the white snows, Father. We thank you for their endurance which have teach us, Father. We thank you for the lessons in life and death which teach us, Father. For there's death, there's rebirth. We ask you to help us spiritually, physically, and mentally. To take away any impurities and any toxins that might lie within us. We ask you to bless us, top of head to bottom of feet. To have good, strong minds, Christian hearts, Father. We ask prayers for our loved ones and families, Father, to keep us strong and healthy. We ask prayers for all people and all nations, Father. We come in some manner honor you, sacred smoke, bless them. Los Chocotesia, Sapo, muchas gracias. Please have a seat. Thank you.
All right, now we would ask you to join with Director Joe King in your own way as he leads us in an invocation.
If you'll please remove your hats and bow your heads. Heavenly Father, first let me say thank you for all the blessings we enjoy in this country. Thank you for bringing our co-op community together today safely. Thank you for our hosts at Casino del Sol Resort and the staff that has prepared our meeting today. Thank you for our hardworking Trico employees that keep our industry running. And thank you for our military that protects us at home and abroad. Lord, bless our work today that it may serve our membership well. Give us foresight by which we plan for the future. Give us confidence to discover and explore new possibilities, and help us to accomplish our goals while displaying your character. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Joe. Now, Director Thompson will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would continue to please stand, Tiff Jensen will be singing the national anthem for us today.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay, the usual public service announcements apply. You can see the exits. The bathrooms are about a mile down the corridor that way. And at this point, I turn it over to our CEO, General Manager, Brian Hightoff.
Thanks, Larry. And thank you to Miguel and Marcia, Joe, and Tiff. That was an excellent start to the meeting. I also want to thank all of the Trico members who came out today to participate in the governance of your cooperative. It's what makes the cooperative business model unique, so thank you. We have a lot to share with you today, and I hope that you enjoy yourself. This morning you'll learn about what Trico is doing to serve its members today, some of our accomplishments of the last year, and about how we plan on continuing to provide reliable, sustainable, and cost-effective energy solutions in the future. The electric utility industry is changing rapidly, and Trico is improving and innovating to make sure we provide our members with the choices, great value, and reliability you deserve. We want you to be proud to say that you are a member of a nonprofit cooperative, and that, more specifically, you receive your energy from Trico. Later, we will share more about Trico's community involvement over the last year. You will have a chance to ask questions, meet directors and staff, And as always, we have some great door prizes at the end of the meeting. Now I'd like to introduce and recognize some special guests who are here with us today. And I'll start with former directors. Here in the front table, we have George Davies, and actually his wife, Jay, is also here. George served on the Trico board from 1975 to 2013, including most of those years as our board president. And he also served in leadership positions in the state and at the national level as well. Barbara Stockwell is here, also in the front. Barbara served on the board from 1979 to 2021 and also held leadership positions in the state and at the national level for Trico. Brad Despain. Brad served on the Trico board from 1994 to 2021, including a spell as our president, and he's held leadership positions at cooperative organizations here in Arizona as well. Nick Buckaloo is here. And his wife Lori's joining him. Nick was a director on the Trico board from 1978 to 2022, and he held the president's position for 6 years, and he also held leadership positions in the state and at the national level, representing Trico. So we are in good company, folks. There's a saying that we stand on the shoulders of those who have come before us. And that's certainly the case with George and Barbara, Brad and Nick. Also, we have Skip Whitley, who is here today. Skip is our board counsel, does a great job. Tom Shaben, who is the community engagement coordinator for the Attorney General's office, or Attorney General Chris Mays is here. Tom, thanks for coming. We did have a few legislators who thought they were going to make it, but I'm not sure that anyone did. Are any of our elected officials here? I'm not seeing any. I'll move on then to some of our colleagues at other electric co-ops here in Arizona and from across the state. Patrick Ledger, who is the CEO of Arizona Electric Power Cooperative, sends his regrets for not being able to make it today. APCO is a cooperative power supplier headquartered in Benson, and we are a member of APCO, like you are a member of Trico, so indirectly you're members of APCO. Jason Bowling is the CEO of Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative in Sierra Vista. Jason is here in the front. SSVEC is a sister cooperative of ours, and they serve to the east and south of Trico. Marcus Harston is also from SSVEC. He's here in the front. Marcus is their VP of Marketing and Communications. We have 3 representatives from the Grand Canyon State Electric Cooperative Association, or JISECA, with us this morning. JISECA is a statewide organization or association that electric cooperatives in Arizona formed and are part of. They're headquartered in Tempe. And I'll start with Dave Locke is their CEO. And Dave's wife Jenny joined him this morning. Also, Jorge Kanaka is the Director of Federal Regulations and Regulatory Services, over here to my right. And Casey Ratliff is the Director of Government Relations and Grassroots Advocacy. So, I'm not sure where Casey is. Over here, way in the back on my left. I'd also like to introduce the Trico Board of Directors. And so I'll start here on my right. Larry Hinchliffe is from District 6, which covers Corona de Tucson and the Vale neighborhoods. Joe King is from District 5, which covers 3 Points, Arivaca, and Sassabee, and parts of the Green Valley. Darrell Birkhimer is from District 3, and that covers where we are at today, as well as other parts of Star Valley and Picture Rocks. Marcia Thompson is from District 4, and that covers primarily Green Valley and Sahuarita. Here on my left is Kevin McCarthy from District 7, and that includes Saddlebrook Ranch, Eagle Crest, and Mount Lemmon. See, Jerry Rutherford is from District 1, and that covers Dove Mountain in the Marana area. And last but not least, Arnold Burrell from District 2, and that covers the Marana area west of I-10 and also parts of the Abra Valley. In addition to thanking the board for their service, I'd also like to thank the spouses of board members for their support throughout the year, because it does take a considerable amount of time and effort to serve on the board, and like all of us, we require the support of those around us to do what we love to do. So I want to thank Joanne, who's the wife of Director Hinchliffe, Roger, the husband of Director Thompson. I believe Roger's here in the front. Sarah, who's the wife of Director King, Candace, the wife of Director Burrell, Cherie, the wife of Director McCarthy, Cynthia, the wife of Director Birkhimer, and Nancy, the wife of Director Rutherford, and Nancy is here. And with that, I'll hand it back to Larry.
All right, at this point, I would invite Eric Hawkins, our Chief Operating Officer and most excellent corporate attorney, to help us through some legalese.
Thank you, everyone. So just a couple of points real quick. If you haven't voted, please do vote. We will have employees circulating to pick up ballots. You'll also see question and answer cards on your tables. If you have a question, please feel free to fill it out. We'll collect those later, and Brian and I will answer your questions. So now, the exciting legal procedural part of the meeting. So the first thing is I need a motion from the audience to approve the agenda that is listed in your program. All right, could I get a second? All right, all in favor? And opposed? Sounds like we're good. All right, so the next item, it is an option that we can read you the short but very boring still waiver of or notice of the meeting. If you'd like to waive that, I would ask for a motion from the group. All right, a second? All right, all in favor? Anybody want to hear the notice? Okay, that passes too, thank you. All right, the even longer meeting minutes, and they're more exciting, but I still suggest that we have a motion from the group to go ahead and waive reading of the full minutes from last year. All right, how about a second? All right, all in favor? All right, perfect. Sounds like we're good. We can now move on, and I'll call Brian up here for an introduction of the candidates for election this year. Thank you.
One of the ways that we stay connected with members is meeting regularly with our elected board of directors, made up of 7 members elected by the overall membership. Through your vote and your elected board, you have a say in how the business operates. We serve a diverse membership of homes, businesses, ranches, large and small businesses of all kinds. And to make sure that we get input from all these areas, our service areas is divided into 7 districts. This year, 2 seats on the board are up for election. District 3, which includes Abra Valley, part of Picture Rocks and Star Valley, and District 6, which covers Corona de Tucson and Vail. Our incumbent director for District 3 is Darrell Birkhimer, who is running unopposed. And our incumbent candidate for District 6 is Larry Hinchliffe, also running unopposed. So thank you to the candidates for your service and also your willingness to continue serving. Each candidate recorded a speech that has been available on our website since early February. Hopefully you had an opportunity to view those. This year we offered the option to vote online, and those results will be added to the online voting and the mail-in, and those who are voting today. So if you voted online or by mail, you cannot vote today. If you are eligible to vote, you have received a ballot when you checked in this morning. So if you have not already done so, please take a moment, fill out your ballot, and then raise your hand, and employees will be circulating through the crowd for the next few minutes to collect those. Both our candidates are running unopposed, yet we encourage you to make your voice heard by voting. Also, at this time, if you have a card filled out with a question for us that we'll circle back to towards the end of the meeting, also raise that up and we'll collect that as well. So while we're collecting ballots and questions, we'll go ahead with the report on our financial condition, and I'd like to ask James Freeman, who is our Chief Financial Officer, to come up for that report. James?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'll cover the 2022 Treasurer's Report for the year. The audited, consolidated financials are included in your annual meeting program. Trico Electric Cooperative, that's your cooperative, had a good year represented through our growth of membership and our growth in your electrical system. Trico maintained a strong balance sheet this year. Having a strong balance sheet means that the cooperative, has adequate cash, ample cash to meet all of its needs. It has healthy assets. It also has an appropriate amount of debt to remain financially stable. From an income statement perspective, 2022 revenue was $103.9 million. $2.1 million less than 2021. The power costs and transmission costs were $56.1 million, which was about $4.1 million lower than 2021. We retired $4.25 million of capital credits that went to you as members. The 2022 operating expenses were $32 million, lower by $2.2 million than 2021. Though power costs continue to increase, we've had some success in offsetting some of those increases through marketing of sales of excess power, and that helped us to keep some of the expenses down. Our operations and maintenance were $11.1 million, and that was up when compared to 2021. Like the rest of the industry and companies across the country, Trico is facing increasing costs for vehicles, equipment, fuel, substations, construction, and power supply resources. We have worked hard to manage these costs, but they continue to increase. We expect to file a rate case next year, which will be needed to reflect these cost increases. However, as a nonprofit, we're still very dedicated to maintaining reliability, supporting our members, and providing effective energy. Cost-effective energy will be our guidepost as it has been in previous years. Just to give you a little bit of detail, some simple examples that illustrate these challenges, these cost challenges I just spoke of. So a 75 kilovolt pad-mounted transformer, that might be something that you see when you're driving through your neighborhood or driving down near a neighborhood strip mall. Pre-COVID prices for that, it was $2,397. $2,397. In 2022, which we had to do some replacements, the cost was $7,569. An F600, that's one of our large bucket trucks that you may have seen rolling up and down and working in neighborhoods. We use Alltech as a vendor. The pre-order or pre-COVID order price or cost of that was $172,647. Cost today, if ordered right now, and we had some this year, $237,600. That's not the final point. It is expected to cost $396,000 by the time we actually receive it in 2027. So long lead times in addition to higher costs and costs that we're projecting out based on what's been going on in the market. Higher costs in all these business areas, along with the addition of recent interest rate pressures, are not going to go away anytime soon. And that's some of the background of why we speak to you today. The good news is overall, Trico realized a net margin of $12.1 million last year, and $11.7 million that came through operations. The rest came through patronage capital from APCO that we spoke of, and other Trico lending cooperatives. On the other side of the sheet, the balance sheet, the net utility plant, that's the structure and the infrastructure of the system, it increased by $34 million to $245.9 million for the year. Now that included some of the projects that you've seen on the screen thus far, like the rebuild of the 3 Points substation, included updates and additions to the Valencia substation, and the completion of the 10 megawatt solar generation facility and the battery storage of Chirion that you saw a little bit earlier. Overall, the total assets were $345.9 million, almost $346 million, with liabilities of $200 million. That produced an overall equity ratio of 42%. Distribution equity is 32%, and both of those numbers are strong. From a cash position standpoint, Trico had $28.6 million, almost $29 million at the end of 2022, which was an increase from 2021 as well. Trico made a decision earlier in the year to secure some cash for some upcoming projects because interest rates were extremely low at that time. This proved to be a very good decision, as we all know what happened to rates in late 2022. The good news to that means is there is no need for borrowing until 2024. Trico still maintains a very strong cash position to support its operations and the projects of the cooperative for future growth. That concludes my remarks. Thank you.
They always put me on after the finance guy. Tough act to follow. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Larry Hinchliffe. I've been on the board pushing 15 years now, and I survived a 40-year career with the United States Department of Energy before I came to Arizona. I'd like to bring you up to date on changes to the board. There have been a number. First, let's tackle the bad news. Don Black, director, retired or resigned, I should say, due to medical reasons some time ago. Don passed away about a month from now. We're sorry, to see that. Express our condolences to his family. He was a NASA project manager before he came to us, and he brought that analytical thinking, a sharp brain, helped us quite a bit in our discussions. He was a good director. He was a good man, and we're sorry to see him go. The news gets better after that, though. There was a process to fill the remainder of Don's term, and Jerry Rutherford was selected out of a group of over 30. And as you can imagine, with a group that size, his credentials are outstanding, and he's been a really great addition to the board. Kevin McCarthy, not that Kevin McCarthy, not the other one in the news, was elected last year to replace Jim Pyers, who retired. And he's smart, he's capable, and another great addition to the board. Darrell Birkhimer was selected to finish out Nick Buckaloo's term, and we'll get to Nick in a minute. He's been in various positions in co-ops in Alaska, Key West, and New Jersey, and to me that's 2 out of 3, so that's good enough. Brings a ton of experience to us, and that helps. Circling back to Nick. Nick was on our board for over 40 years. That's 40. He's held virtually every leadership position in the Arizona co-op world that there is. He's been recognized by an award from the National Cooperative Association, and he's been a consultant to the board. Now, it's one thing to accomplish that much for that long, but it's another thing to do it like he did, which is with skill and honesty and integrity. And when things got tense, he didn't lose his sense of humor. We can't thank you enough, Nick. Now, I'm sure you all know this, and I'm sure I'm beating it to death, but Trico is a not-for-profit cooperative. We're owned by our members, all of us. We do not have shareholders to generate a profit for. We charge only what it costs us to deliver electricity to you and to stay in business. We not only emphasize, our members, but we all live somewhere, so we contribute to your communities as well. You'll hear momentarily about our scholarship program and our grants program from Brian, but this is the way we do business. And why we do business this way is because we're a cooperative, because we're all in this together. So that's the way we're going to keep doing business from this point on. Now, to get real, you all know who does the work. Would the Trico employees please stand up? They are an exceptionally bright and dedicated group. And the board and the members, thank you for all you do. Leading this group is our excellent CEO, General Manager, Brian Hightoff. And Brian will let you know some of the outstanding results we've had for Trico and talk some about the rapidly changing environment that is just going crazy in this industry. So we're in good hands with Brian, so it's all yours.
Thanks, Larry. It was about 2 years ago that I came on board at Trico, and I have to say that it has been an honor and a privilege to serve the board and to serve you, the membership. Whenever there's a CEO transition, and also coupled with board transitions, there's bound to be some different ideas on how to run the business. However, there are a lot of things at Trico that have not changed. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So one is service. It's a core value of Trico's. It's the focus of all we do. Serving the members is the focus of all we do. And that's something that's always been the case, it's something that is the case, and that's something that's always going to be the case. I can say the same thing about integrity. We're honest. We try to be fair. We try to do the right thing. That's been the case, and that will always be the case. And I could go on with dependability and reliability. So for my remarks today, I want to talk about some of the changes. I also want to talk about some of those things that are the same, along with the successes and challenges and the vision we have for Trico. So we've accomplished a lot in the last 12 months, and the credit goes to the board for their vision and guidance, as well as to Trico employees for their dedication, dependability, and their talent serving members. I will start by mentioning our high-level metrics in the categories of finances, reliability, safety, and member satisfaction. As James described, we are financially strong and well-positioned to meet our members' needs. And that sets the foundation for a strong system and a strong co-op. We were able to maintain decent margin levels in 2022 and have an above-average equity ratio. Both are indications of financial health. The primary concern when it comes to finances is how to deal with the fuel, labor, and material cost increases we have seen the last 2 years. As was mentioned earlier, a price adjustment in 2024 appears to be unavoidable at this point. And that's not only here at Trico, but every electric utility that I'm aware of in Arizona is facing the same thing. You may have read in the paper about increases that are being proposed by some of our neighboring utilities. And I want the membership to know that we will not be at those high levels. In fact, it appears that our residential rates, even after an increase, will be below that of our nearest competitor. We haven't been able to say that for decades, if ever. And it reflects good decisions made by my predecessor, made by the board, and employees over many years. Moving on to reliability results, which is about keeping outage time to a minimum. Trico continues to be in the top quartile of electric co-ops across the country. And on that point, I recently had an opportunity to go back to the 1970s and 1980s and look at some statistics. And our reliability always wasn't like what it is today. In fact, we were in the bottom quartile in some of those years. But like many things, it takes discipline and methodical investments in infrastructure year over year to strengthen our system to what it has become today. Our safety culture is robust, healthy, and yet improving. And to that point, our employees have worked over 3 years, almost 1,300 straight days without a lost time accident. The satisfaction levels of members like you, as measured by the leading cross-industry customer service survey instrument in the country, is higher than at many well-respected companies, including companies known for service like Nordstrom's and Starbucks and Amazon. That's pretty good company. And we appreciate knowing that the majority of members feel we are serving you well. Not that we will rest on our laurels, though. Our culture is one of innovation and continuous improvement. And we know that your expectations and needs are always changing. So we will work to continue to increase the value we can provide to the membership. So the bottom line is that Trico is performing pretty well. The electric utility industry is changing fast, though, and there are exciting opportunities with electric vehicles, automating and adding intelligence to our distribution system, and renewable generation. Trico is an innovation leader among cooperatives, and we believe that the cooperative business model, putting members first, will help us thrive many decades into the future. I've spent my career working for electric co-ops, and one thing that we all have in common is our commitment to the membership. The nonprofit cooperative model, where people are more important than profits, is at the heart of every decision we make at Trico. Despite what's going on in the news regarding the economy and the housing market, Trico's growth has sustained itself as demand for housing in our service area continues to remain high. To support this growth and our existing members, we constantly invest funds to make updates to our system, and that helps us maintain reliability and resilience. Trico is investing almost $70 million over the next 4 years to continue improving our electric infrastructure. In just the last year alone, we've commenced work on 3 distribution substations, improvement projects, as well as improving and building 50 more miles of electric line. Think of it this way: every time that you pay your electric bill, you are investing in the community, because some of the money goes to improving the local infrastructure. And by making these investments in our local system, we can ensure that you have reliable service for everyday life. Trico continues to make community-scale renewables part of its overall resource planning to meet the energy needs of our members now and in the future. Just a year ago, in April of 2022, we set a target of reducing emissions by 50% by 2032, and our Chirion solar and battery storage facility will help us get there. It's located near Saddlebrook. It is a 10-megawatt photovoltaic solar generation facility and a 15-megawatt battery storage system. This is the first project of its type for a cooperative in Arizona, and it has performed well for the first 6 months of operation. As we select our power supply resources, it's important to understand, though, that we balance cost, sustainability, and reliability. That said, investing in the community goes beyond the energy we provide. A few examples include Trico's Power Grants program, funded by members who round up their monthly bill, which has provided over $700,000 in funding to local nonprofit organizations since 2008. We funded food banks, first responders, schools, and health and wellness programs throughout our service territory. We're also very proud of our scholarship program. Last year, the Trico Foundation awarded $500,000 in scholarships to over 90 local students. We did the research, and this is one of the largest cooperative scholarship programs in the country, if not the largest. Our commitment to helping members and their dependents improve themselves through education is unmatched, and we hope it is something that you're as proud of as we are. Since 1985, the Trico Foundation has awarded over $3.5 million in education scholarships to members and their families, and all these funds come from donated capital credits or unclaimed capital credits. Speaking of capital credits, it was mentioned earlier, Trico paid $4.25 million in capital credits to our members. So also think about that for a moment. If we were a for-profit utility, those dollars would have gone to investors. And some of those investors may have been local, but a lot of them would be spread across the country, if not in other countries. In Trico's case, those dollars stayed in our local communities and economies. We are proud that this was Trico's 13th straight year of retiring capital credits. Since 2010, we've returned more than $32 million to our members. So hopefully the credit on your bill in December or the check you received in January help make a difference for you and your family. As you can see, Trico is working hard to provide you cost-effective and sustainable energy solutions every day of the year. We want 2023 to be a prosperous year for our community and our members. As we work to make this a great year, we also devote a lot of time and effort to planning for Trico's future. I believe Trico is at an important stage in our growth and development as changes in industry and advances in technologies and changes to our members' needs offer us opportunities to provide even better service in the future. So looking forward several years to 2030, we envision exciting changes at Trico. We are working towards a fully automated power delivery network that monitors and ensures two-way power flow and information between Trico, our generation resources, and our members. We are anticipating an intelligent system enabling more real-time pricing and seamless interfaces among people, buildings, businesses, generation sources, and our network. Our substations and lines will sense, communicate, and operate more efficiently and effectively. I see faster detection of outages, automatic responses to outages, and rapid restoration that will improve the reliability and security of the grid. We expect more electricity use by our members as you purchase electric appliances, electric vehicles, heat pumps, and other electric devices. And in conjunction with this, Trico is moving toward a fleet of electric vehicles ourselves. We are also serving the growing needs of members who choose electric vehicles by introducing innovative off-peak pricing options. We can safely assume an increased number of distributed energy systems, whether it be solar or batteries, or even the management of water heaters or smart thermostats, whether they're co-op owned or member owned, will contribute to our region's power supply. We see Trico's members having the ability to customize their electric supply to suit their individual needs. Traditional utilities have had a one-size-fits-all business model. It's like that old Henry Ford adage of, you can have any color Model T as long as it's black. But soon, Trico will tailor its services to individual members, such as more time-of-day options, pricing options, or the choice of the amount of renewables you want to buy each month from Trico, or if you want to pay in advance rather than arrears, while still offering simple solutions or traditional solutions for those who do not want to actively manage their energy use. As you might expect, with all these opportunities, there are also challenges, but I believe the cooperative business model focused on the members is the answer. At Trico, we believe that connection powers our purpose, and this connection brings us together as a community with the understanding that we can do more together than we can do by ourselves. Together, we keep Trico strong and shape a successful future. So thank you again to the Trico board, the Trico employees, and to all our members. So we appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Video.
We're
out here for our ribbon cutting event at our Cherion Solar and Battery facility. We've been working on Cherion for 4 years now, so it's a big day coming to a culmination of a big team effort.
It is a 10 megawatt solar energy facility with a 30 megawatt hour energy storage project attached to it.
And I'm excited because Trico prides itself on our vision towards the future and more and more utilization of renewable sources of energy to serve our customers.
Trico is at the forefront of looking at new technologies, looking at a significant amount of renewable resources, and we're very excited to see them accomplish this project and meet their goals.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
We had excellent partners on this project, both Solve and our developer Torch. This team has been great to work with and made it easy.
Our partnership with Trico has been great. I've really enjoyed working with them over the last few months here. They have been very supportive in all of the efforts and understanding of COVID impacts, module delays, so it's been a real partnership over these last few months.
You know, Trico is the best. Like, I think across the board, we find co-ops to be one of the most interesting customers for us.
Part of Trico's mission is to provide our members with both sustainable and cost-effective energy. So being able to put together the battery with the solar, we not only produce a zero carbon emissions, but also at a good price.
This is about as good as it gets. It's very low impact to the environment. It's very difficult to even see from the nearby roads. It's low profile. It's automated. There's very little human intervention required to generate clean power. And then that clean power is stored in the batteries here at this facility and then put out onto the grid that serves all our Trico members.
We are at 30% of our sales right now are from renewable resources. Our goal is to reduce our emissions by 50% by 2032. We are in a good position, not only leading in the state in terms of renewable energy, but also across the country.
As Brian mentioned a moment ago, the Trico Scholarship Foundation is funded from unclaimed capital credits and donated capital credits. And also, we mentioned over 97 students of Trico member families have been recipients of those credits, over $500,000 this past year.
We're fortunate to have one of our recipients here with us today. I'd like to ask Emily Gauthier to please stand. Emily has received the Trico Scholarship for 2 years, and she's a Wildcat at the U of A and a 3.8 GPA. And Emily's major is in nutrition and food systems. She was also had the opportunity to be a summer intern at the warehouse for us in 2021. So, Emily, well done. I'd like to also say thank you to all those who have donated their capital credits, and to all the students. Thank you for all the hard work. We're proud of Trico could help.
All right, I believe we've collected the questions, so I'd like to ask Eric Hawkins to join me here on stage, and we will take some of those questions and answer them. I'll let you have the mic.
All right. So we have quite a few questions. I'll say we did get some questions about the meeting and suggestions for the meeting. So Brian mentioned innovation, always trying to get better. We'll certainly take those to heart and work on those for next year. So thank you for those ideas. The first question that I wanted to ask was, Brian, you mentioned how we're moving towards having a more intelligent system. We did have a couple of questions about that. One of them was about how many of our meters were automated meters.
All right, well, 100% of our meters are automated. We have what's called an advanced metering system, or AMI for short. That was a project that we embarked on in, I believe, 2018, and completed a complete retrofit of our prior metering system in about a year's time frame. And it took the effort of a lot of employees to pull that off. This is the third generation AMI system that I'm aware of at Trico, and it allows us not only to collect meter readings, but also voltage information and outage information, and that is a key component of moving more towards having more intelligence on our system. And ultimately what that allows us to do is, over time, as we continue to then look at our regulators and our transformers and our switches and add intelligence and or communications to those devices, is create kind of this self-healing system, or at least a system where we can do more of the switching whenever there's an outage from our office, as opposed to always having to roll a truck. Not that we will ever get away from that. We'll always have a certain degree of that, but if we can reduce that, then over time, our outage time per member will go down. So to give you a little statistic, we currently have about 45 minutes of outage time per consumer per year. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that's in the top quartile in the country. That takes out anything related to major storms. So it's just our tried and true, everyday reliability. We are hopeful. We've played around with some numbers. There's a possibility we might be able to drop that in half in 10 years' time if we continue automating and adding intelligence to our system.
All right, thank you, Brian. And just to let you know, if you have any other questions or you'd like specific questions answered, please come up afterwards. We get a lot of questions here, so we try to group them together into categories. One of the categories that we saw a lot of questions about was renewable energy, questions about Trico's renewable plan, and partly about how the Chirion and Avion projects work.
Okay, I'll take part of this, and then I'll phone a friend, you, Eric, and then you can take the rest. So our renewable energy, I guess the question really gets to how we look at it is we have to have a balanced portfolio. And there are three legs to that stool. There's sustainability, and we are working towards having a more sustainable power supply mix. But it also has to be cost effective, and it also has to be reliable. And so if you think of a stool, it has to take all three legs. We understand and recognize that there is a transition going on in the country regarding power supply and energy. And we are leading that charge, but at the same time, we also recognize that we can't get too far out ahead so that it becomes cost uncompetitive or unaffordable for our members. We have members today who struggle with paying their electric bill, and by adding a certain amount of generation here or there of a certain type, that could even get exacerbated worse. So we're very conscious of that. It's a balanced approach. We're adding resources that are reliable. We're adding resources that are cost effective, but also sustainable. Now regarding Chirion and some of the mechanics of how that works, I need to fix this for you. See if I can get that.
There you go. I can hang on to it. So yeah, thank you for the questions. We have both our Chirion Solar, you just saw that video. We also have a solar facility called Avion Solar. Each of the sites is able to serve about 3,000 homes. Pretty soon, both sites will have batteries. Chirion already does. Avion is adding a battery. Those batteries would be able to power about 4,000 houses for about 2 hours. But that really the goal of the batteries is we charge the batteries when energy is the cheapest, and then we discharge the batteries when it's most expensive. That helps to save all of our members money. To be able to put them in cost effectively, you've probably all heard about the Inflation Reduction Act. You may not agree with the name, but it is providing a lot of money and funding for installing renewable energy. Those types of tax credits have been around for a while. We had to set up, I won't bore you with the details, but we had to set up a pretty complicated system to be able to get 26 or 30% federal tax discounts. Since we're a nonprofit, we don't pay taxes. So we worked with a bank that has a tax appetite. We sell the project to the bank, and they lease it back to us after they have given us that 30% or 26% reduction. So just one of the ways that we make solar and battery and other renewables cost effective for our members. One thing I'll mention, there were several questions on power supply, about making sure things were reliable. We believe and we've experienced that the solar and battery are reliable, but we're also working on adding some additional gas units to our fleet. So working with our generation and transmission cooperative, APCO, to be able to add some newer and more efficient gas resources as well. So we're trying to have that good balance and good mix of resources. I'll just throw in there were a couple questions about out-of-state power. I think that's just kind of in that same wave. You may have seen stories in the past about having some rolling brownouts, things like that in California. A majority of our power comes from in-state. It's really the only thing that we would get from out-of-state would be market power that we would buy during certain times of the year. That's a relatively limited amount of the power that we receive. So just to help answer that question. There were several questions about rate options and what rate options Trico would have in the future. There were a couple about electric vehicles, and there were a couple also about providing people time of use options. So Brian, if you could answer those.
Absolutely. So historically, electric co-ops have offered one rate. It's been a flat rate. But the cost to generate electricity varies by every hour, actually every minute of the year. And so with that thought in mind, we know that some members would like to have more opportunity to manage your own energy use. By having a better price signal from Trico, then you can make decisions, and actually the way the world's turning out, we can use technology to help make decisions in your homes and businesses in order to save money. So with that thought in mind, we developed what we call a 5-year rate roadmap that was approved by our board in December, and it lays out a series of additional rate options that we plan to introduce to the membership over the next 5 years. Some of those are going to start happening this year. And the first one will be one regarding off-peak usage for electric vehicle charging. So if you have an electric vehicle charger, we will provide the power to that for about half the price of our normal rate. Now, why can we do that? Well, the cost to generate power and deliver power is about half in the middle of the night as what it is during the day. And off-peak would be, at least currently, it's the off-peak, or it's the evening hours. So, if you have an EV, as I mentioned, you can charge during the evening hours and get the rate about half of what your normal rate is. Well, we're also looking at introducing at least 1 or 2 additional time of day options. We're looking at some additional electric vehicle charging rates in addition to the one I just mentioned, and just a series of options. Regarding energy, I'll mention one more. And so we currently provide in your base rate, 30% of the power is from renewable resources. We know some members want to see that higher. So we're going to be proposing to the Arizona Corporations Commission, hopefully it'll be approved, and we can introduce it, say, later this year, to allow members to increase that 30% to either 50% or 100%. Or if some members want that local, we can even make that a local option. So the base rate will stay at 30% renewables, but for those members who want more, there will be an option for you to buy more. So it's just providing more options to our members so that you can customize how you like to receive energy from Trico. And we believe that's, I guess, better overall in the long term as we look to meet the collective needs of the membership, but also meet your individual needs.
Thank you. So one of the questions was whether a TEP customer would be able to come over and switch to Trico. There's not really a process, but we appreciate that and yeah, take it as a compliment, so thank you. We had a couple of questions more on electric vehicles, and I guess the focus was partly on Trico's fleet and making sure that electric vehicles were reliable and what we're doing with members to help them with the reliability of their electric vehicles.
With the reliability?
Yeah, and I think it's sort of the range and also how can they charge if the power system is down.
Good question. So regarding our fleet, we have an electric Chevy Volt in our fleet. We recently purchased 2 F-150 Lightnings, and those just started rolling off the assembly line late last year. We intend to incorporate those into our daily operations, and for example, one of those F-150s are going to be moving into our metering department, and it'll be used on a daily basis. We do have chargers at the Trico headquarters, although we're looking to supplement those. We know there are some communities who would like to see electric vehicle chargers, and we would like to see that as well. We recently had a conversation with a government agency here in Pima County to see how we could work together to enable or allow more communities to install public chargers. We're also looking at a program to install home chargers on behalf of our members or for you. So when you buy an electric vehicle, you have to line up an electrician, you have to line up what kind of charger do I buy? There's just a lot of work involved, and so we are developing a program, and it's yet to be approved by the ACC, but we'll be submitting it soon, where basically for a flat price, Trico will install the charger and maintain the charger and allow you to buy unlimited off-peak energy for a flat price. So be looking for that. Those are all in an effort to increase the optionality and also allow members to buy vehicles and I guess have some comfort that there's going to be charging options as you go forward. I don't know if I nailed that completely, but if you got something to add, Eric.
Yeah, I guess what I would add is that it's a topic that we talk about all the time. I think this week in management team meeting, that was one of the topics we talked about for about an hour, was how do we make sure that that electric vehicles are working reliable, that we have options for charging, that you might have an option to charge, even when power is down. So I guess I would say just it's something that we certainly focus a lot on. And I suppose that sort of goes into the next group of questions. This will be the last one, but like I said, if there's any other questions, please come up afterwards. But we did get several questions asking about cybersecurity and then overall security of the grid. I imagine a lot of you have probably seen some of the stories about different attacks on substations across the country. A few folks noticed that and had some questions about what Trico's doing.
Yeah, that's a great question, because it's kind of come up over the last 6 months, not that there was never security issues, but with what's happened in North Carolina and the upper Northwest and here in the United States, there's been several attacks, some malicious, on electric substations and other infrastructure. So we have also engaged internally to have discussions about how we can better protect our assets, and we've started deploying a security system at one of our sites, and as we get that installed and up and running and learn from it, we will be looking over time to add that to additional sites. But also when it comes to the issue of security, there's also an opportunity for us to install and add more resilience to our distribution system. And one of the ways we can do that is by, it's an industry term, but it's called microgrids. So historically, again, we have a one-way system. Generation is usually very centralized, and we take the power from those generation sources and deliver it to homes and businesses and farms and ranches. And as the world's evolving, it's becoming more distributed. And that allows us to place, like the Chirion site or the Avion site, or even additional community generation facilities, and create microgrids that can island from the main system if there's a substation outage or a circuit outage. And so, interestingly enough, Trico has had a microgrid on Mount Lemmon for 20 years. We have generation at the top of the mountain that can operate an island if there is an outage on the line that feeds the mountain. Avion and Chirion, we're working to determine what it would take to turn them into microgrids. And again, the idea is if there are attacks on substations or critical infrastructure, over time, we will have a system that can weather that and continue to provide reliable and resilient service. Eric mentioned the Inflation Reduction Act. There are dollars available through the IRA that we are looking at securing. And we're looking at the IRA funds as really, if we have projects either in our operational plans or strategic plans that we can get assistance from the government to deploy anyway, we need to take advantage of that for the benefit of the members, because that just saves you all money in the long run. So, cybersecurity, physical security, microgrids, they're all, I guess, efforts to get to the same end, which is to make sure that we have reliable and resilient service no matter what the conditions.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you, Brian. Those are all the questions we have, but if you have additional questions, like I said, please come on up. We can find, we've got lots of staff here, so whatever the question, we could probably find the right person to help you get the answer. Thank you very much.
All right. So while Eric's getting the election results, I'll thank the candidates once again. It takes a serious commitment to be on the board, as well as to run for the board, to collect signatures, and to ask your neighbors if they'd be willing to vouch for you when you're running for the board. So, do you have the results? Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity. Roberta got me the votes even before it was scheduled to get me the votes. So I will say that. Thank you to Roberta Lopez-Suter and the marketing team for doing a great job putting this together. Roberta does it every year. It's a huge effort, so thank you, Roberta. So we had 2 uncontested elections this year. So the winners are Darrell Birkhimer, Larry Hinchliffe, have both been reelected. We did have over 400 votes in the election, and you can look to the minutes for the official final numbers, but with an uncontested election, not much surprise. So thank you very much, everyone.
We have 2 quick procedural issues to get by, and then we'll go to the raffle. I have to ask, is there any unfinished business before the meeting? Is there any new business? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting and move to the raffle. A second? All in favor, aye? Thank you very much. Directors Moshe Thompson and Darrell Birkhimer will take care of the raffle for us.
We're going to make this as quick as possible. So first of all, we're going to ask Riley Schultz to come up. She is a Trico Scholarship recipient, and she graduated in 2022. That's you. Okay, Riley's here. This is good. Okay, if I could ask all of you to please get out your little ticket, so you're all ready when these numbers are read. That way we can go faster. Just so you know the procedure, Riley will pick out the ticket and we'll read the number, but she's going to keep the ticket up here, so we'll have a Trico employee come up, write down the number, and verify it with whoever is holding it up, saying that they have the right ticket, and then we'll get them your prize and we'll move on to the next one as quickly as possible. Are we good? Everybody's good? Oh, yeah, so at the very end, then we'll have all the tickets that we've drawn out and put them back in to the drum for the final raffle thing. That's the 2004 Chevy Silverado truck. Okay, you're on. This will be for a $50 Trico bill credit.
Okay, the first winning number, 262-0896. Let me do it again. We got it? Okay, right there.
Oh, so you just put the ticket by the side of the thing. You got it? Okay. Okay, the next one's for another $50 Trico bill credit. You got
Ready? Okay. 262-0283. There we go. Over there. Uh-oh. This side of the room is ahead 2-0.
The next one will be for a $100 Trico bill credit.
This ticket number, 262-0874. There we go. Jeez.
Okay, the next one is another $100 Trico bill credit.
262-0258. I just heard a sigh. Somebody just missed it. Right over here.
Nope.
Somebody on this side of the room, please.
Nope, I think
Where are we
it's
at?
somewhere
Oh,
up here.
holy cow.
The next one is an overnight stay at Casino del Sol plus the $50 resort credit.
Okay, if this doesn't change, we're going to play a song. Everybody has to run around. When the song quits, you got to reset. All right? Because this side of the room is getting too many. Okay, 262-0322. There we go. Okay. Everybody applaud her for her.
The next raffle thing is an air fryer.
Okay, 262-0952. Straight ahead? There we go, out there, okay.
Next one is for a luggage set.
262-1031. We got him? Okay, okay.
The next gift is a Beats headphones.
Number 262-0976. Over here, okay.
The next one is a robotic vacuum from Arizona G&T Cooperatives. Thank you.
262-1006. Over here. Okay.
The next ticket is for virtual reality goggles.
That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
262-1023. Right here. Okay.
The next ticket is for Nintendo Switch.
262-0041. Oh, big size.
Did somebody have that ticket? Do you want to read it again? Is this for the same thing? Did they get it?
Yeah, they got
Okay.
it.
Okay, the next one's for an iPad.
262-0046.
Oh, right over here.
Over here? Okay, there we go.
The next ticket's for 42-inch TV.
You all know I'm pausing on this last number, right? 262-0944.
And this one is going to be for another 42-inch TV.
Are we ready? We're good? Okay. 262-0342. Anybody?
One more time.
One more time. 262-0342. Where'd we go? Over here? Okay.
Okay, that was the last of those raffle tickets. So we're going to collect all the ones that we've already taken out, mix them up again really good, Riley. And then we'll do the 2004 Chevy Silverado. It's good. It's good.
We ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Who wants this anyway? Anybody? Oh, all right, okay. Okay. Well, good luck, everyone. 262-0247. Right there. All right.
Thank you all for coming today.
If you purchase trees, please follow the signage for pickup and remain in your vehicle. We have a team that will be loading the trees for you. Thank you.